today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. Making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. Making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. Boys and ghouls, DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. Making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. Making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK.
Hey folks, oh, there we go. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's doing all right today. Scott 2572, welcome. Hey AJ, welcome. Oh my goodness, it's been a bit. It's been a bit of a day. Hey Vegas Squid, what's going on, man? No seafood boil today. We'll get to it. So, last night, howdy how. Yeah, chicken or pork is an open question indeed. So, okay, a little bit of a story to go with what's going on today. Today I'm going to be sort of fixing, I guess, some of the Chinese takeout that we got last night. A little bit of a backstory as to what's going on. Mrs. Hueso's been having some difficulties at work, and it's been a kind of a rough go for her. Just things have been really difficult. Anyways, she had a really good day yesterday, and so we decided, okay, you know what, it's a special, it's been the best day that she's had in quite a while. So we're like, okay, hey, let's get some Chinese takeout, which is some of her favorite stuff. And so went to order from the place that we normally order from, and they were closed on Monday. Like, okay, so looking for another place to order from. Found a place that wasn't terribly far away. Hadn't been there before, but the Google and Yelp reviews were actually technically higher than the place that we normally go. And went on to the site to order from, and it was thankfully the same kind of ordering system that our normal place takes. And so it was like, oh, okay, that's kind of a good bonus. And we're looking through the menu, and it's not quite as extensive as the place that we normally go, but they had, kind of the usual fare. And being that it was our first time ordering from them, decided, hey, let's order, some things that, kind of the standards, kind of the things that like are super popular that most people order. And so we figured, hey, that's probably a decent benchmark for things. And so two of the things that we ordered were sweet and sour pork and orange chicken. Probably the most commonly ordered items from any Chinese takeout place in the US. And got home, unpacked, and the first thing that I noticed is that this particular place, the way that they send takeout home is kind of a standard way, where they have kind of the chicken as well as the pork fried up in a separate container. They give you a container of sauce, and then you can kind of dress it yourself. So then that way, the chicken or the pork or whatever doesn't get soggy, by the time you get it home, which I can appreciate. But when I cracked open the bags, the orange sauce was that. The sweet and sour sauce was this. Now, the sweet and sour sauce, the kind of the takeout sweet and sour sauce that you normally get, it's usually kind of a dark red. It's usually relatively thick, and slightly opaque. I mean, it's not the greatest sweet and sour sauce in the world, but that's just sort of what, there we go. It's kind of the norm, and it's sort of what I expected. However, that sweet and sour sauce, as it was warm, could have very easily been confused with Bruce Lee. Be like water. It's kind of what it was. A tiny bit of sweetness, no real sourness to it, super thin, and it was almost magenta in color. It wasn't like that deep red that, I would have expected. And it was just super disappointing. The orange sauce wasn't much better, to be honest. The orange sauce had like a relatively mild orange flavor at that, and it was just kind of like oven's ready. Kind of I mean, it was just really, really disappointing for both of them. And to make matters worse, yeah, Linmeis basically. The chicken and the pork, I mean, it was, you know, that standard takeout fare. Let's, you know, kind of the fried nuggets of sort of whatever. This is what came in here. There was a third piece of broccoli, but yeah, you had these two little tiny orange slices in there. And this is what it was. And when I pulled a piece out of each to give it a taste, I couldn't tell a difference, to be honest. For all I knew, it was either all pork or all chicken, or who knows. To be honest, it was completely indistinguishable. Yeah, Linmeis' parents did own a Chinese restaurant. I do recall that. And it was just, I mean, honestly, the whole thing was disappointing. The rice was there, I guess. We had also ordered Mongolian beef, and that wasn't too bad, but it wasn't, yeah, it was like, it was okay at best. Like, the whole thing was really disappointing. And when it came time to, like, you know, put food away and things like that, I mean, there's seriously debated about just dumping the lot of it. But I couldn't bring myself to do it because, I mean, this, you know, not an insignificant amount of money that was spent. So earlier today, when I was thinking, like, okay, well, what should I, you know, do for, you know, stream today? We'll get to that Vegas squid. Initially, I thought, okay, well, you know, there's some, you know, I've got some ideas or something. Hey! And then ads hit you. That's really funny, Cthulhu. Thought about, you know, making a couple of different things, but I'm like, you know what? I wonder if I could save this. If there's a way that I could kind of fix these things up, that I could take this stuff and remake it, make it better, whatever. And so that's my plan for today, is I'm going to take this stuff and I'm going to make a significantly better orange chicken. The sweet and sour I debated on doing, but I decided to do something else that I would rather eat. At least that here in the States, it's the General Tso's chicken. Takeout classic, something that I really love. I've not really had a whole lot of experience making it, but I'm gonna give that one a shot too. Depending on if there's enough of whatever mystery fried meat this is, I might do a third option, which is a take on a dry tteokbokki. That was a recipe that I've made before and I actually quite like, and I thought it might be really good with this. But at the very least, I'm going to do a proper orange chicken. I'm going to do that General Tso's and have that. But I can't just have these two fried things. Yes, I am going to use that same meat. I don't know what it is, but that's why I'm trying to save it. So then that way I don't feel so bad about the money that was spent on this stuff. Vegas squid. Yeah. Brave or stupid or both, who knows. The other thing that I need to go with this is I need some kind of vegetation. And because both the orange chicken sauce and the General Tso sauce are going to be relatively strongly flavored, and for the vegetables, I'm gonna keep it super simple. I'm initially gonna steam like some cabbage, some carrots, some broccoli, and probably some onion, but then I'll finish it off with a quick stir fry, very simply seasoned, just because sometimes you need that, you know, refreshing simpleness to go with everything else. And then because the rice that they gave us last night again was really meh, I'm gonna go with an egg fried rice just because, well, I can. And so I actually made some rice a little bit earlier and it's on the stove chilling, so we'll use that to make the egg fried rice. And so that's at least my plan for what I'm gonna do. In terms of reusing this mystery fried meat, my plan is that, well, I don't own an air fryer. I do, however, have an onion oven that has a convection setting, and so I figured, why not lay it all out on a rack, on the tray, put it into a ripping hot oven on the convection setting, so then this way air has a chance to get around everything, and it will have a chance to kind of render out some of the oil that is probably still sticking around in this, hopefully crisp up some of the stuff. Then that way it'll be nice and hot and kind of re-crispify kind of everything. So at least that's kind of the plan. Now, I'm not going to put this in the oven until, I don't know, to be honest, like, in terms of reheating it in the oven, I think maybe 5 minutes or so, 5-6 minutes. I've got my oven on at 450 Fahrenheit convection, so something really kind of hot and ripping, so then that way it will, in theory, kind of crisp up the outside a little bit and help render out some of the residual oil that is stuck in there. And so being on the rack, it'll have a chance to kind of drain out a little bit. So that's what I'm attempting to do with this. So we'll see what happens with it. And yeah, so I'm going to go put this over on the stove just to kind of get it out of the way. And then, we'll take it from there. As for the recipes that I'm using or basing things off of, I didn't want to put them up just because, I mean, I'm literally kind of playing with this stuff, and so it's not really a question of following along at home just yet. But there's a fair amount of mise en place that I need to get done, and so that's what I'm going to do. Now, both of the sauces, both the General Tso as well as the orange chicken sauce, they're going to be thickened up with a cornstarch slurry, which is how just about every takeout Chinese food sauce is thickened. And so thankfully I have plenty of cornstarch, I got plenty of water, and so that's kind of a non-issue. That's easy peasy. For the orange, now, okay, if I were to make these from scratch, to be honest, both the chicken and the pork, well, the General's, wait, no, we ordered, that's right, we ordered sweet and sour pork and orange chicken. Anyways, the pork for the sweet and sour pork and the chicken for the General Tso's chicken, or the orange chicken, would have been marinated initially, and then for me, I would have tossed them only into like a light starch and then fried them off that way, as opposed to this, which is kind of a thicker batter that puffs up. So, as for, to answer your question from earlier, Vegas Squid, yes, I actually, and I also have a carbon steel wok that's hanging up in the back. I don't have a ring to use it on a normal burner, but I do own a carbon steel wok. So, okay. For the orange chicken, we need orange juice. Now, this recipe is saying for a cup of orange juice to use a half cup of sugar, and I'm just, somewhere Wilford Brimley is turning over in his grave and screaming about diabetes. Plus, the oranges that I'm using, I know for a fact, are on the sweeter side, so I'm gonna taste it before deciding rebread it. To be honest, you know what? That's just way too much work for what we're doing here. Yeah, that rebreading the meat's just way too much work for this stuff. But it's an experiment to see if we can get this if we can fix this at least. Anyway, so orange juice, it's calling for sugar. We'll kind of see on that. A little bit of rice vinegar, a little bit of soy sauce, ginger, garlic, chili flake, zest from the orange, and then the cornstarch slurry. So that actually will come together pretty easily and quickly. As for the General Tso's chicken, we've got some crossover with the ginger and the garlic and the dried chili. A little bit of light soy sauce, a little bit of dark soy sauce, some sugar, vinegar, ketchup, white pepper. Again, whole lot of the same stuff, just in slightly different amounts. For the egg fried rice, for that, my plan is to keep it really simple. Because a really simple egg fried rice is fantastic. So, besides the rice, eggs, salt, white pepper, make a flavored oil with some ginger and white parts of scallions before putting in the egg and the rice. Now, I'm going to do something a little controversial with the rice. There's a lot of people that, you know, when you're making egg fried rice, are convinced that you have to fry up the egg first before adding the rice and kind of, you know, get it all mixed together. In my perusal of all things YouTube and cooking videos and things like that, I came across one that did something a little bit different, which I thought was interesting, and I want to give it a try. Is he mixed in the beaten up eggs into the rice first before putting it into the hot pan that he made his flavor oil in. And it looked like it turned out pretty cool. So I'm going to give that a shot and see what happens. I mean, it could be a spectacular failure. I don't know. But I will guarantee that even if it is a failure, it's still going to be better than what we had last night. Then vegetation-wise, that's purely chopping it up and getting it ready for the steamer, and then quick firing that at the very end just to get a little flavor on it. So I mean, honestly, most of this is going to be the mise en place and just kind of getting things mixed up, and then when things start coming together, they're going to start coming together real quick. So that's where we're heading with this. That being the case, let me bust out the vegetation, get that ready, set into a pot, and then we'll start dealing with everything else, getting the sauces and everything ready, and we'll just be set and ready to go. So then when we start, once everything comes out of the oven, we can start firing the sauces and everything else. So yeah, that's my plan. All right. There's that. This. Here. Garlic, onions, broccoli, carrots. Let's see what else. Cabbage. That. Oops. Alright, I also got some onion and some bell pepper that I had kicking in the fridge. So we got that going on. Soy sauces are out. Let's see. Rice vinegar. And let's see what else. Got the garlic out. Dried chilies. So we got that. Soy sauces, sugar's up there, vinegar's there, oh, ketchup, white pepper's there, oranges, ginger, okay. Ginger, oranges, I'm gonna need that. Got those oranges. Bit of ginger, Chinese clear because that's kind of what we need to use today. Fu Manchu beer. Oh yeah. So for those that haven't noticed, I decided to take off the lengthy handlebars it just got to the point where it just felt like it was time, and they were kind of getting in the way and things like that. And so I figured, you know what, this starts off with a good blank slate to kind of regrow everything. Yeah. Do I think it's real meat or plant-based? No, I think it's actually meat. To be honest, I would say that I wouldn't be surprised if it's all chicken. I think it was Andrew's chat earlier, in talking to G Tribe Alex, my theory as to what went down with this particular restaurant was that, well, he had suggested that, hey, maybe they just had kind of an off night or something like that. But judging from the quality of those sauces and kind of everything else, my theory is that the restaurant has tried to slash their food costs as much as they possibly can in order to be as profitable as possible and to actually stay in business. I mean, the mask laws have only recently been lifted here, but even there was a sign up on the door that they didn't have the staff in order to have dine-in service at the moment. So that tells me that they're doing whatever they can in order to stay afloat. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Lumpy Pickle. Running a restaurant is seriously tough. Most people don't realize all the costs and everything that are involved. Hail hydrate. And speaking of hydration, if anybody goes down into the point redeems, you should notice that there's a whole bunch of new ones in there. I think I loaded in like 8 or 9 earlier today. So there's some new ones in there to play around with and fire off for fun. But yeah, what most people don't realize is that what you see on the plate and what you pay for it is usually, depending on the restaurant, usually about three times or so what the cost of what is actually on the plate is what you're paying. Because not only are you paying rent, you're paying all the utilities, you're paying for pest control, you're paying for licensing, you're paying staff wages, your electricity, your water, and then you have your food costs. And it's interesting because when you look at like the breakdown of
that's right, it's time to pound your
what the total costs of a restaurant are, the food costs can be one of the largest portions, but also one of the easiest to let completely go out of control. And so a good owner / general manager, oh, have a good night, Queen Bethulu. Yeah, because that's right, you're going to be working late shifts pretty soon. Take care, have a good night. Yeah, time to pound. Yeah, you like the time to pound one? That's a good one. But it is really interesting just to kind of look at the back end and the business aspect of it to understand what all is involved. Oh, there we go. Good. I'm glad these are working. But yeah, that's something that, once you understand kind of the economics of the whole thing, when you go into a restaurant, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm paying so much for this. Or like when you're doing a catering gig, for instance, and people are like, well, I want to put as much money on the plate as possible. You're like, yeah, but you got to pay your staff. You got to, all the labor and everything involved. And oh yeah, what about like all the other costs that, people don't quite realize. So it's just kind of interesting. Oh yeah, eggs. Need those too. And while I'm in here, the ASMR portion of our stream today. Okay. All right. So let's get everything that we need in order to load up the steamer, and we'll take it from there. All right. And since these aren't going to necessarily need to steam for a very long time, I don't have to put a ton of water in there. So let's see. Well, let's start off with the cabbage, and we'll just load that in at the bottom since this tends to be a little bit heartier. There we go. Okay. Oh, hi, puppy. How you doing, little girl? Big guy heard me talking and was just like, oh, wait, you're talking to me too? Where you going, big guy? Hey. Come here. Good dogs. All right. How much cabbage am I feeling tonight? Probably about that much. Yeah, that'll work. I'm just winging it on all of this, to be honest. So how's everyone else's day been going? Hey, let go of my blouse. All right, Kelly. Let's throw a bit of onion in there just because I want to. I am thinking. Since I want kind of the long strips, I'll just come in from the side here. I don't know if that's really visible. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, good. One of the coldest March 29ths on record. Oh, oof. That's rough. Sorry to hear that, Kelly. But then again, I mean, this past year, I think we had the hottest ever recorded on record here, and I think we also had the coldest. Interestingly enough. All right, so do that. Let's see. We were gonna do this. You hear the dogs deciding that they want to start playing suddenly. Okay. Let's since these are on relatively long stems, I figure I'll just start ripping them off, and then I'll break them down to something a little bit more manageable. I'll probably still have those. Yeah, something like that size. Okay. Since these guys are pretty big, I'll probably break them down into quarters. Just to keep life a little bit easier. Come on. Okay. Oh, I'm probably not going to stream on Saturday, just because this weekend's going to end up being pretty busy, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to squeeze in the time to do it. So at least as of this moment, I'm not going to be streaming on Saturday. I will stream on Thursday, and I have some thoughts about what I'll be making for that. Again, we've got some people coming over. Don't have the dietary restrictions that we have. Hey, Ian Mix65, welcome. So most likely, I've been thinking, well, it was Diaz Malley that actually mentioned in, I think it was on Discord, about a Chipotle Gouda and Munster mac and cheese that she used to make at a place that she used to work. And I'm like, that actually sounds pretty good. And so part of me thought, hey, that might be a good side for that night. Maybe not necessarily the Gouda and Munster, only because I have some ideas for other cheeses that I would use, but I'd probably still end up going with that Chipotle kind of seasoning heat. People have other people come to their houses. What are those great? I know, right? It's, to be honest, Lumpy Pickle, for a long time, we were entertaining people at our home quite regularly for a really long time. And then I was also, we were going to other people's places, and sometimes I would cook, sometimes they would cook. Although I will say that it seems like a lot of times what would end up happening is people didn't know that I cooked or that I could cook. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, totally, and everything would be, fine. But then once they found out, they're like, oh no, I could never cook for you. You're so much better, blah, 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 or whatever. And to be honest, that's like still persists to this day, where people are just like, oh my gosh, you're really good. There's no way that I could possibly cook for you. And the thing that I tell them is, yes, this is a craft that I have spent years, practicing and learning and practicing and practicing and practicing. And so it's not a competition, for one, and I will eat with a heart of gladness whatever, somebody who has actually taken the time to prepare food for me. I will eat with a heart of gladness what they make for me, crazy, right? I haven't been to my friend's place since the weekend. Well, but how long had it been before that, AJ? But, and then when I tell them that, it's like, oh, okay, fine. I'm like, listen, just make what you're going to make. Don't worry about it, because, and like I said, I will eat it with a heart full of gratitude, because the act of providing nourishment for somebody else is, it's a, kind of a special thing. And so I take that, kind of seriously. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, part of gladness, now I feel better and don't feel intimidated. Yeah, I mean, it's true, Mom. I will eat with a heart of gratitude the food that is prepared for me. Now, that being said, if for whatever reason I find myself hungry later, that does not mean that I will not hit In-N-Out or, whatever. Which, In-N-Out for me is about an hour away, so that's not the case right now. But, there's always, Jack in the Box Death Tacos or something like that. So, but it's all good. I am just peeling carrots. Alright. So now with these, I am just gonna take these ends off because these carrots are looking a little before slicing them on the bias, just to get more kind of surface area on them. These are probably done on, I don't know, maybe a 30-degree angle, or 60 depending on which way you're facing. Oh, that's right. I'm like, what happened? Anyways, sorry, just thinking about something else. Okay, so that is looking good. I'm just gonna go put this on the stove. I'm not gonna turn it on yet, but I'm gonna at least get it on the stove. Stop making so much sense. Yeah, death tacos. Jack in the Box tacos are, we call them death tacos because you definitely feel like death after the fact, but there are some times when you just need a death taco. Yep. Beauty. So that is now done. All right, so I need to do probably a full bunch of these scallions. And let's just get all those kind of lined up. I'm just going to trim this end real quick before giving these a rinse. And then that way, when I go to when I go to wash these, then it's just easier to take off like all that little stuff. And then what I'll do with these is the greens I will keep separately, but the white and light green portions I'll split and then keep them separated. So then that way, for like the General Tso's and the egg fried rice, we can make kind of that aroma oil to start out with. Death tacos are my go-to on the rare occasion I hit Jack in the Box. Yeah, exactly. To be honest, like that's honestly the only thing I order off their menu, is the tacos. That's it. Like I don't even get a drink from them. To be honest, on the way back to our place from the closest Jack in the Box, there's a McDonald's. So what'll usually happen is like, okay, we get death tacos, then hit the McDonald's drive-thru on the way home for their dollar soft drink. because a large drink from Jack in the Box is like 3 something or other, but I can get it for $1, you know, drink from McDonald's. So, keeping it cheap. Stuff is going to be mixed separately, and we need to keep some stuff separated. Let's just grab those. Okay, those are going to end up being for sauces. That's that. And we'll do green onions a couple of different ways. So. Alrighty. Straight down the middle. There. Alright. Nice, fine. Yep. The only problem with kind of pre-trimming them like that is you get to these ends and it's like, oh, they're all super short, and so it's just like everything doesn't get stacked up quite as neatly. Little bits, you know. There we go. Excellent. Alright. Now we can do all the green bits. Again, I'm just doing these pretty thin. Since the green is really garnish and some other stuff, I don't really want large pieces in either the General Tso's or the egg fried rice. All right, we've got all our green bits. Oh, fast food frugality, absolutely. You can plant the white parts of green onions and they will regrow. This is true. You certainly can. Well, yeah, not now, obviously. And you can smell that. Yeah, my eyes can feel it a little bit. Those green onions were definitely on the slightly more pungent side. But that's okay. I like them that way. Okay, what else am I going to need? Definitely going to need some garlic. I think the General Tso's. And what are we looking at? 2 for that. A couple for that. Alright, well, we'll just do. 2 cloves of garlic. Yeah, sure. Somewhere Emerald Lagasse is smiling at me. trimming the ends off, and then give them a bit of a smash, and then run the cleaver through them a little bit. I don't necessarily want to paste for. I'm going to use this orange chicken and the rice, so probably a good thing I'm doing extra. Yeah, I don't really want to paste for what I'm doing with these. Alright, there we go. You know, it's funny, you watch like videos of people that just whack the heck out of it using the cleaver. Every time I've ever done that, it just causes garlic to fly everywhere. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'll take a minute and just, you know, smash it this way as opposed to the more dramatic, you know, whack. But that's just me. Oh, I missed the end of Nick's stream today. He didn't say which band he was going to be touring with, did he? I know Lumpy was in there. I'm not sure who else was in there, if they heard Nick announce, or if he announced what band he was touring with. I know everyone was saying First Fragment, but he didn't come right out and say it. So I was just kind of curious. Because that would be pretty awesome if they toured. Alright. Garlic. Nicely for what we're doing. He did not. Okay. Yeah, the fact that he wouldn't say that if it was First Fragment or not, which I thought was kind of interesting, but it could also be that it's only because the band hasn't announced it yet, and so it's not really prudent for him to announce that they're going out on tour as of yet. That is, unless, of course, he is going to be a bit of a mercenary, you know, bassist for hire or something like that. But that's okay. Healing the ginger. I need to figure out how to set it up so I can. I was thinking it'd be fun to do like a karaoke stream or something like that, but I need to figure out how to set it up so then that way, using a microphone obviously to input sound, but I wanted sound to not only output through the stream, but I want the mic to not pick up sound coming through the speakers. That was awesome. Goodbye, little ginger. Tell Mally she's not alone in terms of like dropping or spilling stuff. That's alright. Okay. That's okay. To be honest, if this ends up going, I've got powdered ginger. I mean, it's not ideal, but it'll do in a pinch for this. All right. Great success. Sacrificial ginger, yeah. Scary oak. Yeah, Nick will destroy whoever's ear holes if he's paid enough. Lopan has been appeased by her offering a ginger. Oh, has he now? But I'm not the jade-eyed girl that he needs in order to obtain immortality. Just saying. Big Trouble in Little China is one of my favorite flicks, so. Okay, let's give this stuff a slice. Okay. Yeah, it was kind of a bummer hearing him talk about some of the stops on the tour, at least, that he won't be coming through Portland or Seattle, at least according to what information he had, which is a real bummer, because like I would have been there in a heartbeat. But I mean, apparently they are rolling through LA, so maybe. Also depends on when it's happening too. Because I know, at least for me, my kind of trip priority is really going to be like the one trip that I really want to do, I really want to make happen, is going to TwitchCon down in San Diego. That's going to be kind of the big one that I want to hit. Whether or not that happens, I do not know as of yet. But then again, tickets for that, I guess, aren't even going to be available until sometime during the summer. Okay. Couple of errant pieces. Excellent. Alright, that should be plenty of ginger for our purposes. Okay, let's see. What else? Well, I can get rid of these. I get rid of that. And you know what? I'll hang on to that, I think. Okay. So let's see. Oh yeah, that can go back and that can go back too. Need Jack Burton of the Pork Chop Express. You're darn tootin' we need Jack Burton. That would be pretty awesome. All right, let's see. Survey says orange juice. So vinegar's out, sugar's just right there, soy sauce is right there, blah blah blah. Garlic, sugar. Oh yeah, ketchup. Okay, that's out. So it looks like the last thing that I really need to prep is oranges, orange juice, some zest, which now I'm curious what some of y'all's opinion is on this. If when you get orange chicken, are you looking for, like, if there happens to be zest in it, are you wanting it like that little, like, super thin shreds, or do you want kind of like bigger pieces that are like, oh cool, there's actual like orange peel in this, and then you could be able to pull it out? I'm kind of split on the subject myself. However, part of me is, these oranges are really, really thin skinned. Yeah, I don't know. Plus, what I'm using is blood oranges because it's what I got. What's an ideal food in Decay's no to fix it? Pull out the orange peel. Okay. Okay, so you want pieces of orange peel that's big enough that you can avoid it, kind of like with whole chili, so then that way you can set it aside, but it's like, oh cool, it's there. Well, part of me is kind of thinking then maybe what I'll do, because once I get these open and juiced, you'll see how thin skinned that they actually are. Part of me is tempted to kind of clean out the interior maybe with the spoon a little bit, and then cut it into larger pieces, so at least like they can easily be avoided. I think that's what I'll do. I'll make them into larger pieces, and so then that way people can kind of like, oh, and by people I mean myself and Mrs. Wiseau, we can pull them out and decide to not eat them, and we can call it good. So I will do that. But at first, I need to get some veggies cut up for the Tso's. I've got some breaded orange bell pepper there. I'll keep all the ends and everything for like a salad or something. But for this, probably just that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, but I thought being able to set up like a karaoke stream would be a lot of fun. Because it's been a long time since I've had the opportunity to do karaoke. Just with things being what they were. And, blood oranges are awesome that way. And what's really cool, the tree that these particular oranges come from, the oranges are like freakishly sweet, especially for blood oranges. Blood oranges in general tend to be on the slightly sour side, and they definitely have a tree that's on the sour side, but the tree that these came from, my dad will juice it and drink it straight up, not watered down, no sugar, no nothing, literally just straight up. And they generally have a really deep red color to them. So part of me was thinking, like, oh, okay, well, this is going to be kind of like the, like the Conan of Chinese, orange sauces, the blood of my enemies kind of thing, just because they're going to be red. DK, have you ever watched a cooking show and completely disagreed with something a chef has done? Who, me? Yes, all the time, actually. That happens way more frequently than... Yeah, actually quite a bit. And that's part of the reason why I don't watch a ton of food TV, is because sometimes they're just doing stuff and I'm just like, no, no, and then I'll turn it off. Yeah, like there's some like YouTube, well, yeah, there's a lot of that, you know, like WTF, but it's also very much like, sometimes I watch in morbid curiosity, just wondering, it's like, okay, well, where are they going with this? But then other times it's just, it was like, you know, no, just
Wrong.
gotta stop it.
Wrong.
Kind of like the, wrong. Like the infamous Gordon Ramsay grilled cheese video that he did. If you've not seen it, it is an absolute travesty. Gordon Ramsay is a dude that, you know, he's clearly been around for a long time. And the guy has some serious skills. And, I mean, for all of his bluster and bravado, especially watching some of the older shows. He did a series in the UK called The F Word, and there was a lot of stuff that was done on that show that I really liked, and I was just like, okay, it is a, like, it was like, oh, this is kind of cool, and it kind of let me into his mind in terms of how he approaches things. And there were some episodes that talked about kind of his background and what he did, and so I'm like, okay, you know, like, I may not be totally into TV's Gordon Ramsay, but it's like I respect him as a chef and his abilities. This grilled cheese that he made was like, what is going on? Genuinely, I'm just dumbfounded. Like, the bread that he used, like, looked like it was amazing bread, but the pieces that he sliced were like an inch thick. They were huge. And then the cheese that he used, if I remember correctly, I thought he used a Taleggio, which a Taleggio is an Italian, it's a washed rinded cheese. It usually comes in kind of a square, and the outside is usually pretty craggy and has a tendency to be really strong. And so a lot of times you end up cutting off the outer rind that forms, which a Taleggio in a grilled cheese isn't necessarily a bad thing. However, the piece that he used was incredibly thick. And Taleggio by itself is a strong cheese, and it's one of those things that's like, that sandwich, if you'd had a single bite, that you would have been done. Like, it was enough. Because like I said, Taleggio tends to be really strong. But here he is, he's like, okay, we're gonna do this, blah, blah, blah. And he like makes this grilled cheese, and it's like barely in the pan. I'm like, I don't even think the cheese got warm. It was just like, dude, what are you doing? But if I were to wager a guess, it was a situation where they were only on that location for a short amount of time, and they just had to shoot it and be done with it. But it showed such a complete lack of just, oh my gosh, like, what on earth were they thinking? Like, genuinely. It was super, super cringy. And it's like, after that, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just leave that one alone. So, okay. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, so that will be sufficient vegetation to go with that. I'll put that in this, I think. So then it is ready to go with all the other things. Okay. Cool. That's what I decided. Those can go away. Still need to keep that out. Alright. I think we're ready to take all these out. Oh, still gotta do the oranges. There's the white pepper anyways. And I think I'm gonna just make a single thing of the cornstarch slurry that I'll just split in two. Generally, you do like 1 part cornstarch to 2 parts water ish. Maybe a touch. Yeah. This will obviously settle, and I'll have to stir it up before adding it to whatever I'm making, but yeah, I mean, if you've never made a cornstarch slurry, it's just a question of mixing it up. The cornstarch will separate out, and so I will need to re-stir this. But you just get it in there, mixed up initially. And then once we're ready to add it, we'll add it towards the end. And then once it has a chance to actually come to a boil, that's when it'll really start thickening things up, and we'll give it like this really nice glossy kind of appearance. So, okay, let's cut open these oranges. I've actually taken the liberty of washing all these guys ahead of time. So, that's the interior of this particular one. I don't know if it's... Yeah, you can see how it's like darker, but the red is really kind of concentrated around the outside. When we juice these, you'll see what I mean in terms of the color. Yeah, that one's nice and dark too. Nice. Okay, let's give these guys a good juice. But you can see like how thin that skin is. So, a little bit of orange. There we go. That will do nicely for our purposes. But kind of thinking. Like that one. I figured I'd use ones that actually had a little bit of the red on it, so maybe these two I'll hang on to for the kind of the zest portion. Alright. Cheese didn't melt. Yeah, he completely blew it. Yeah. Like, I honestly was just... It was kind of like a, I wonder if it was just supposed to be like a cheese sandwich that he then warmed. But I think if I remember correctly, he did it, I think, on the stove, but then I thought he popped it in the oven, if I remember. I don't know, like, it was very like, oh, what am I watching? No, why you do this? So I don't remember completely. Hey, I be stupid, how's it going, man? Welcome, welcome. So I don't remember entirely how he constructed it. I might, you know what, I'm kind of thinking maybe I should do like a reaction to it and just kind of go through it and talk about just, you know, all the places that he went wrong and what could have been done to fix it. Along with like any other cool YouTube cooking videos or whatever. So yeah, here's our orange juice from Blood Oranges. Let's see, what's the measure on the side say? About a cup. Works for me. So, put that in that one. I'm going to go give this a rinse so it doesn't get all sticky. Grabbing some additional. Oh, I'm glad to hear that you. What test are you studying for, I be stupid? I, however, am currently passing my. Completely forgot the fact that I've got these two orange halves here in needing of juicing, so that I could use the zest and everything. So. I'm having a stellar day. Anyways, well, at least it's making me laugh. Okay. There we go. Now, I can clean these out. Writing processes, basically critical thinking writing processes for college. Ah, is it like for like doing like technical manuals and things like that, or is it just like an English literature type of thing? It's pretty interesting. I've read a ton of books and stuff. I've never really taken a writing course. Oh, okay. So it's gotcha. Right on. Okay, so that's cleaned out nicely. And this will be cleaned out. Also very nice. Beauty. Alright. Let's set it up there for a moment. There we go. Orange zest and everything else that we need for that chicken. And well, we studied poetry, narrative writing, research writing, and creative writing. So it's like a background course for how to write different things. Ah, okay. That is kind of interesting, just in terms of like how to structure it, how to approach it, and kind of the writing styles and everything. Hey, little girl. Knock it off. Okay, good. I was just like, is the background music playing? Yes, yes it is. Although it just paused, I think, in between songs. Yeah. Yes, it did. Okay, good. I got concerned there for a second. I'm like, wait, is the background music playing? Had to check the levels, and yes, sure enough it is. So, very good. Yep, and the differences of how to do each kind. That's cool. Wish I would have had one of these my first time through college. Would have made some of my papers and stuff way easier. I bet. Yeah, I've been through college twice myself, so yeah, I completely understand, dude. Okay. Let's put some sauces together. So there's our orange stuff. And let's see. so I got my orange juice. Well, let's give it a taste. Orangey. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar. I'm not gonna add anywhere near as much sugar as this is calling for. It's saying a half cup. I don't think it needs a half cup. To be honest, like a tablespoon or two, I think is fine. I don't really like my orange chicken super. I don't like it candy sweet. I want to be able to taste orange, and I want to get a little bit of tartness from that orange. And yeah, I want a little bit of sweetness to balance it, but not necessarily a ton. So okay, that's good to go. Yeah, I'm doing a year of refresher courses to update some certifications since moving to Canada, and I start my master's program. Oh yeah, that's right. Because everybody has different standards and certifications and all that sort of thing. So yeah, cool. What's the master's going to be in? Let's see. All right, so we got the sugar, a little bit of rice vinegar. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm not being terribly exact on this. A little bit of soy sauce. I'm going to go with light soy sauce for this. This is calling for a Japanese sauce, but I'm like, not so much. All right. A little bit of light soy sauce in there. Let's see. Garlic, ginger, chili flake, zest. Okay. So that looks like that is it for the liquid team on this. Then the zest will end up being in there. I'll probably throw those in with the garlic and the ginger. Yeah, that's it. Alright, so that's the zest. That's that. So I can get those out of the way. Alright, so orange sauce is mixed. So here's what I'm going to do for the orange sauce. Child and youth study. Oh, very cool. Child psychology. Right on. Plan for the orange chicken is a little bit of oil goes in the wok. We'll throw in the ginger, the garlic, the orange zest, and well, definitely the ginger and the garlic. Let that fry for just a second. Throw in the big old zest pieces and let that go. Throw in the dried chilies before adding the liquid stuff. And letting that kind of come to a boil, thicken, kind of reduce a little bit, and then we'll thicken it up with the cornstarch slurry before adding in our deep fried chicken, pork, or chork, because we're not entirely certain what it is. And then that will be our orange chicken. So okay, that sauce is now done. General Tso sauce. That's good. Hey, Mrs. Weiss home. That's fine. Let's see. So this is going to start off in basically the same way. A little bit of oil, ginger, garlic, and dried chili pepper into the wok to kind of lightly toast. And then the sauce for this is going to be, let's see, a bit of light soy sauce, about a couple of tablespoons. And then a dark soy sauce. This is going to be about a teaspoon. Hey everybody. So you have blood oranges there. Have you ever had blood limes? I used to grow them in my backyard in Florida. I love them. They were tart, great for mojitos, not so great for pies. Tried to make key lime pies out of them, and they were so acidic they needed all kinds of extra stuff to actually set. Interesting. I did not know there was such a thing as a blood lime, but that is amazing. I bet you blood limes, being as tart as they were, probably amazing in a Cuban mojo. I bet you they'd be amazing in that. Scott. Hey, Scott.
Yep.
So we need a couple of tablespoons of sugar to go into this.
How's it going?
So far, so good.
You talked about the whole disappointment you
Yep.
had.
A lot of regret and shame with
Yep.
what that was last night. All right, so sugar is in. Saying tablespoon of vinegar. This particular recipe I trust a lot more, just because it comes from an older gentleman who owned a Chinese takeout restaurant for like 30 plus years. So I'm like, okay, I'll listen to him. Ketchup. There we go. And a little bit of black pepper. And then that is... And that's basically ready to go too. Okay. So that is good. Dried chilies. I don't need these anymore. Yeah, I'm not putting soy sauce in the rice. No, I am not.
Why?
Because I don't wanna. I'm gonna keep it simple, stupid. Not calling you stupid, but just the acronym. Just so we're clear. Was not calling Mrs. Wayso stupid. It's just the acronym. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay. So, General Tso sauce. There we go. This we can take away. This we can take away. Yeah, I showed them the travesties that were the sauces that they decided to call orange sauce and sweet and sour sauce. Just really, yep. Bruce Lee, or the other one that I really like is the joke about sex in a canoe. I'll tell you later. Missed if you were talking to me about my limes. Kids called. Yes. I've never personally heard of blood limes, but I would love to get a hold of some because I bet you they'd be amazing. And even if they were super tart, I bet you they'd be not only. You said they were great in mojitos. I was thinking Cuban mojo, that they would be fantastic. If I can't get the bitter oranges or naranja agria, orange with some of that blood lime, some lemon, I bet you they'd be kind of amazing that way. Okay, eggs. So, all right, so here is the rice that I made. I'm thinking for this amount of rice, I'm gonna want probably 4 eggs in there. That's my guess. I should probably get a fork for this part. Actually, chopsticks would probably be the most appropriate. There we go. Okay. Hey, buddy. Excuse me. Thank you. More homies, all the homies. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of new channel point redeems for those that weren't here earlier. All right, here we go. This is the first time I've ever done this, and like I said, it could be really controversial about mixing the egg in first, but I'm gonna give it a shot because why not?
What?
I gotta tell you though, careful when handling your nuts. I've put my nuts in here countless times. I even handle it with care, and they end up looking like this.
I don't know if you could hear Mrs. Weso gasp at,
What are you doing?
It's okay, baby.
I'm gonna redeem something.
Wrong.
Are you now? Careful.
Wrong.
Wrong!
Oh, Charlie.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Okay. Alright, I might need your help.
It's right on a room.
No, it's at room temp. It hasn't been fried yet.
Let me ask you.
Oh, sorry. Yes, the rice is at room temp. It's actually, I made it like a couple of hours ago, and then once it was done, I fluffed it up and left the lid off to kind of let the steam out so it wouldn't make it all wet. So yeah, this is room temp rice that will fire up and get going. But this is kind of where we're at. Okay, so
Some wash my hands.
no, actually, here's what I'm gonna probably end up having you do. Our mystery meat, I'm gonna pop into the oven and set a timer for like 5 minutes. Yeah, check it. If it's done, pull it out.
Like not even going through.
Yeah, warm through, like it's kind of sizzling, popping on the outside. When it's done, pull it out and just leave it on the stove. And then we can steam the veg too. I figured I would start on the rice while this is in the oven.
Your input on me. All of the instructions, the only instructions you're giving me is to pull that out when the timer goes off when it's ready.
Okay.
Are there more instructions there?
Not
Okay.
really. I was just letting you know kind of what. I'm just letting you know what was going on, because sometimes that sort of thing is important.
Yeah, our communication is
Alright.
I don't want to mess up.
You're not gonna mess up dinner. Your job is simple. It's gonna be
Pull it out.
pull it out.
I got this.
Okay. I should probably have some serving pieces ready to go. Excuse me, Jane. For the chicken as well as the pork or the mystery stuff. So there's one. Not for this. That because it won't work with the water. There's that. This is the byproduct of entertaining and things like that, is you end up with a whole bunch of serving pieces. Some of these I haven't used in, it's been a minute. Alright, so hey, Rick Samurai, welcome.
Scott Connor showed up.
Oh, Pun King is here. Welcome, buddy. Alright. Timer. I'm putting this in.
Okay,
Alright.
I got this.
Mitts are on top of the stove here. Timer's going. Okay. Doo-doo-doo. Why, thank you. Wait for it. Wait. Let's see. Where is it? Did I pass it? Oh, there it is.
It's lit.
It's thinking. All right. Fried rice first. Did it play? I was having trouble with that one earlier.
Samurai asked about the stove.
The burner here?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's butane. It's one of those portable butane that takes canisters like this. Happen to have another one off to the side ready to go. Okay, so for this, we're going to throw in some of the garlic, some of the white and light parts, a little bit of ginger. Get that going. I cook on my streams with induction. Oh, right on. What, I didn't. You stream Rick Samurai? How'd you happen upon us? Just out of curiosity. All right, that is already smelling excellent. Okay, here we go. Canisters did it, yeah. A little bit of salt. This is a kombu salt, by the way. Hit it with a little white pepper. Oh, right on. Cooking my work desk on induction on my streams. I work remotely. Oh, that's cool. I'll have to come check out your stream sometime. Hydraulic desk. Oh, okay, so like a standing / sitting desk. Yeah. Definitely smelling eggy. No. The rice and the eggs were all mixed together and they're in the wok.
Right.
That's okay. Turns out you can't get blood from a rock. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
That's my job.
That's your job. Do ya?
They're pretty hot too.
Are they?
Should I leave the oven on?
No, you can turn it off. Okay. A little more salt. I can stand a little bit more pepper too.
Samurai stream.
Mexican, Japanese, Korean, Filipino, and Greek. Nice. Okay, I think this is about done. Yeah. I'll have to have you come take the beauty shots in a little bit. Egg fried rice. Let's hit it with. What do I think about it? I think it's cauliflower pretending to be rice. I'm not opposed to the idea, and I understand why people make it, eat it, especially if you're on a diabetic diet. Like, it makes sense. What I have had of it was closer to rice than I would have expected. I think I've made it once, to be honest, and it was my first time doing it, and wasn't like, it was okay, but I think I overprocessed it initially, and so it just, I don't know, wasn't quite what I was hoping. Okay. Let's move this stuff over here. Since our meat is going to be coming over to sit on the counter here. All right. Veggies are currently on to steam, darling. If you would keep an ear out for the lid jumping and then set a timer for basically just to check them to make sure that they don't. Yeah. In fact, I'd like them a little al dente because we'll finish them off in a wok. There's cabbage, broccoli, carrot, and onion in here, and then I'll just finish them off in a wok. Just super simple. Yeah, that is my plan.
I will listen.
Excellent. All right. Tongs for our mystery meat, which are, ooh, these are nice and crunchy. Good. Redemption, I say. Cauliflower pizza crust. That's interesting. Huh. Okay. Next up, let's go with that General Tso's. So let's see. Same basic starting. Oil, ginger, garlic, dried chili. So a little bit of oil. This is grapeseed oil, by the way. Garlic.
Our menu is very much a cake.
I know.
Good job. Throw it in mom.
Maybe. And
So you're doing General Tso. What else do you do?
orange chicken. Ah, dried chilies. That just slid right in. Okay. Must be the only person who doesn't like sweet and sour sauce. Really? What is it about the sweet and sour sauce that you're not a fan of? Sweet part?
Yeah,
Okay.
sour.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure I could come up with a bland sauce for you if you'd like. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. So let's...
That is bland.
That's already
Surprisingly
really
bland.
good. Yeah, that's already looking nice and glossy thick. So let's...
Not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
Sometimes some tacos like instead of or like instead of that one.
And there's our rescue General Tso's chicken. Da-na-na-na-na. Smells awesome. Alright, give this stuff a quick rinse and we'll get to work on the orange chicken. Well, must have been, because yeah, I talked all about it. Basically, it just wasn't very good. It's the short version. It was a new place, and we ordered a couple of... Yeah, it was Chinese food. It's a new place that we hadn't been to because our usual place was closed on Monday. And we ordered orange chicken and sweet and sour pork. You know, just a couple of staples that you know... If I'm trying out a new place, I try to order something that I've had, you know, many times before, just so then that way I can compare, and I have kind of a benchmark or a baseline. But yeah, it was just disappointment. Okay, last one. Let's see. All right. Starts off the same. A little bit of oil. Now let's throw all the whites in because we can. All the garlic's in because we can. And only a little bit of ginger because it's kind of strong. Hey, night songs! No, it is not. It is some unknown Korean brand that I picked up at a kitchen supply place. Korean kitchen supply place. Oh, I completely added the vegetables to the General Tso's. Oh well. Like I told you guys, I'm literally making this up as I go. Should you be? Thanks for the vote of confidence, baby. I love you.
I love you too.
Pun far. Your confidence in me is inspiring, darling. Okay. This is the sauce for the orange chicken. Made using blood oranges. Because I have them. Nope. That's what. Set a timer for 2 minutes to check the veg. Darling? Okay. The blood of Decay's enemies. Yes. Yes, indeed. We have a kitchen supply place here that opened to the public for the first time during COVID. I've never been. I'll have to check out and see what they have for Korean ware. Yeah. Kitchen supply places are like my Home Depot, I guess, or wherever, you know, men go like for their toy stores or whatever. Yeah, kitchen supply places, it's like, you know, I'd go in there and squee and, you know. All right. Reduce. This will be a nice concentrated orange flavor. I've got a Nordic Ware 14-inch at Costco and almost set the house on fire. I read the reviews and everyone said the same thing. It's not meant for high heat. Nordic Ware 14-inch saute pan night songs. Although Nordic usually makes like, why is it called a wok then? Interesting. I wonder if, well, is the wok made of aluminum? Scott Connor with the pun win. Alright. Tongue.
Oh, that's good.
Now she trusts me.
Yeah, but it's not. It's thin.
Yes,
That's my doubts. Is
because
it
I
thin?
haven't thickened it yet.
Okay, sorry. We've seen.
Okay.
How long did you want these?
If they're al dente, then turn them off and take the lid off. All right. Get our slurry in
I don't
there.
know if they're al dente. Ooh, hot. Okay, okay.
The blood of my enemy is orange chicken.
It did reduce. You forgot peppers and onions.
I did, but the onions and peppers were for the General Tso's.
We'll just have to name up later.
That's fine.
Nice. Nice soup! Carrots are almost done. Check
Oh,
broccoli.
good. Okay.
Let us try some. We do have more servingware.
I know. Yes, we have lots more.
This is good. I'm gonna turn it off.
Okay.
Probably could have come off a little bit ago.
Blood of my enemies, orange chicken. I'm excited. That was... Okay, this is cool enough.
I'll move this out of the way.
Oh, will you?
Wait.
And by out of the way, into your mouth?
I gotta listen to Andy. Put it in my mouth hole.
You gotta put it in your mouth hole, because Andy said so.
Hey.
He was singing my jingle today on stream.
Nice.
Alright. Give this a wipe out. Set that down real quick. You only took a little bit away, yeah?
I only took one location.
How is it?
Excellent.
Good. Is everything yesterday should have been?
Yeah.
Oh. I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
Yes, night songs. What does processed seafood into beef mean? After these messages. Processed seafood into beef? I'm not sure I understand. Processed seafood into beef. Was that part of a recipe? Because I'm not quite following. Read above. I can see it kind of form. I can see it through kind of like a form of cocktail sauce. Orange chicken, how orangey is it? Very orangey. It totally sounds like it would work with some of the food I've made from the Skyrim cookbook. Some of the food you process some seafood into beef for horker meat. That shrimp barbecue sauce would totally work with it. Processed seafood into beef. Oh, you puree the seafood and then mix it into ground beef for using an outer coating on the outside. Oh, okay. I'm like, that suddenly makes a lot more sense. Because yeah, then you would, you'd have like shrimp balls and other fish balls that are made with the seafood that is then ground up. You know what? I'm thinking stunt walk.
Stunt walk.
Stunt walk.
Get the blue one.
That's what I was about to do.
I think it's important I taste test the General Tso for everyone.
Mini walk.
That's
Do
good.
you find that acceptable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, dog.
It's not too spicy.
No. No, it's not. It's got a good flavor.
Good. The only thing I don't like about those steamer baskets sometimes is they're an absolute pain to try to get out, especially when you're using a piece of cookware that's got riveted handles, and so it just sticks. Alrighty. The last vegetation that we're doing is literally just, we're gonna finish it off in the wok with a little bit of salt and pepper and actually, well, you know what? Part of me is tempted to throw in all the vegetation that was supposed to go in the General Tso's, but I totally forgot to add. It's almost like it's a real cooking stream where people forget to add stuff.
There's no second take here.
Yeah, no second take here on Twitch. This isn't YouTube.
What's that?
What's what?
You just added a powder from the braised up.
White pepper. Meatloaf. Quarter pound of scallops mixed with the beef. Yow. Okay. Is it something you just slap together? Would it be a Chris walk? Possibly. There are tons of them out there. There's just Skyrim and Harry Potter. Fallout 1. Yeah, there's a Firefly 1. There's a number of sort of official cookbooks that are out there. That's looking like a pretty good mix. That was just white pepper that I sprinkled in there, by the way. I don't know why I'm still wearing that mitt. What's Firefly about?
How do you summarize that?
Space Western. Okay. And a dead simple vegetable saute, because for stuff like this that's relatively strongly flavored, I wanted to keep it simple. Alright. So there we go. Vegetation, Blood of My Enemy's orange chicken, General Tso's chicken, egg fried rice. The makeup to the disappointment that was our takeout meal from last evening. and I need to push all of this back because I didn't realize it wasn't showing up on that camera. And there we go. And of course, because we got green onions, you have to garnish everything with the green onions. Oh, garnish, garnish, woo! Pop a color, garnish, woo! Boom. We got dinner. Now is when the victory song from Final Fantasy would play. They love the chicken dinner. It came out fantastic.
Yeah, that tapioca.
Yeah, that tapioca starch.
Whole new game.
Whole new game. Apparently Disney's considering rebooting it for Disney Plus.
What, Firefly?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, the Firefly reboot, it has been in talks for like a bajillion years, so... Okay. I'm gonna go in on this General Tso's.
Huh. Interesting.
That's good. Like, the mystery meat is still...
Mystery meat. I think it's chicken.
It's still a bit crunchy. It's not super dried out. Party foul. And, really nice flavor. I'm thinking I would add a touch more sugar to it just to kind of balance out the salty from the soy sauces, but it came out really good. Yeah, so the egg, for the egg fried rice, what I did is I took the pot of rice that I had made and cooled down. I beat up 4 eggs, poured it into the cold rice and mixed it all up, and then fried it from that point.
Oh, Willow was fantastic.
Okay.
Willow, you idiot. This is good. It's gonna take me a minute to be like, wait, what?
It's egg fried rice.
But it's different egg fried rice. It tastes good.
A lot of my enemy's orange chicken turned out good. The orange sauce is excellent.
Well, if they make another Firefly show, it needs to be like the same universe.
Just a completely different crew and
Yeah.
a different story that just takes place in the same universe. That came out quite nice.
Yeah, I was very hesitant. If you didn't notice, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. But this definitely dresses up what this stuff was. Yeah.
It has flavor.
It has flavor.
We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I don't want to hold my breath. Sequels are not always the best.
Yeah, reboots can be disappointing.
Yes, let's get you a box, Scott.
Yeah, the General Tso's, like I said, that's cornstarch slurry.
I see. I can feel it.
The General Tso's, in my opinion, is a touch on the salty side. But when balanced with the vegetables and like tossed into the rice here and get some of that egg fried rice on it, it works out real nice. The Willow shows a continuation. Interesting.
Hey,
But the
Fred's
Firefly
here.
is... Hey, G-Money! Welcome, welcome.
What rice did you use?
The rice it's just straight up long grain rice that I made plain white rice, mixed in 4 eggs while the rice was cold and the eggs were raw, and then made egg fried rice with it. And I really like the texture. you seem not quite as convinced.
Yes, scallions.
Yep, scallions on top. How are things with you today, Grant?
Yeah.
Oh, Accidental Chaos. Welcome, welcome. So, for those that are just joining us and are wondering what's happening here, last night we ordered Chinese takeout. It was
From a new place.
from a new place, and it was beyond disappointing. So what I wanted to do, because I mean, it was one of those things that I couldn't bring myself to just throwing it away because, you know, money.
Expensive.
It was expensive. And so with the chicken and pork, which we couldn't tell which was which, I decided to rescue it by reheating it in the ripping hot oven, and then made a blood orange of my, you know, the blood of my enemies orange chicken sauce, and then a General Tso's sauce. And so literally it was just a matter of putting the sauces together and then finishing it off by tossing the chicken or pork or whatever into it, thereby rescuing what was potentially lost. Not too shabby, feeling a little rough. Knees buggered, even feeling sick for the past couple of days. Oh, dude, I'm sorry to hear that. You know what's funny, Grant, is when I woke up this morning, my knee was just not agreeing with me, so much so that I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stand in the kitchen today. But it got better. Or at least I'm not feeling it. But it got better, so I'm okay. Hope you feel better soon. That sucks to hear that, man. Oh, that's always disappointing when the Chinese takeout. Yeah, it really was Accidental Chaos. I mean, it was a new place, and the ratings were actually higher than our regular place, but our regular place was closed yesterday. And so we figured, hey, let's give them a shot. And we just ordered a couple of things that, you know, as kind of a baseline: orange chicken, sweet and sour pork. And I actually still have the sauces. So the sweet and sour sauce under this light is actually looking deeper colored than it was when we originally got it. When we got it, it looked like it was kind of a light pink, and it was really watery. So much so that I wanted to call it like Bruce Lee, or as the joke goes, like Sex in a Canoe.
Katie.
I'll tell you later.
Mrs. Waster doesn't get the joke yet.
Then the orange sauce that they sent along was just this kind of slightly orange flavored dreck, and was just like, oh, this is no bueno. Yeah, cotton candy coughed something up and left, like, there was a little bit of sweet, not even any sour, and it was just like, what is happening? Yeah, I hope so too. Save myself for the week. Yes, absolutely. Then, yeah, honestly, like, recoup. So then that way when you go have fun with the lords, you know, that you're in, you know, good condition for that, because that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Kids are back in school this week, though, so starting to get back in a routine. Oh, okay, right on. It's the classic joke about American beer specifically, like Budweiser and PBR. I would also say your Labatt and Molson kind of get into that same bit of the joke. Was it a regular restaurant? No, it was a brand new one to us. It's one that's been around for a while.
But it was a regular Chinese restaurant.
It was a regular Chinese takeout place, and their ratings were actually higher than the normal place that we go to, but it was just nothing but regret and shame. What I talked about earlier was yeah, there's a whole bunch of new channel point redeems too. Yeah, but the joke is, yeah, it is just a generalization, AJ. What I suspect was happening with this particular restaurant, based off of kind of the quality of the sauces and then the rice and kind of everything else, is even though restaurants in our area are open back up for normal visitors, so like you can actually do dining room eating, they had a sign up that it was, they didn't have the staff in order to accommodate a dining room at the time, which tells me that they're doing whatever they can to slash their costs in order to just stay afloat. That was the feeling that I got from the quality of the food. That they've, thinned out whatever that industrial sweet and sour sauce is, and they've skimped a heck of a lot. Because like I said, normally in like sweet and sour sauce, when you get it to get in takeout, there's like chunks of like bell pepper, maybe some pineapple, maybe some onion. Nothing in this. Even if, to be honest, like AJ, even if people were out sick, it shouldn't have degraded this much, because back of the house at a Chinese restaurant, it's all about prep and being able to use the same ingredients in a whole bunch of different dishes. So your sweet and sour beef, pork, chicken, whatever, it's all the same. But then those same ingredients, like with the orange chicken and the General Tso's chicken, there was a lot of them that were exactly the same. There was only a couple of things that were slightly different. And it's just different ratios that you add together. MSG does not go bad, which there's already MSG in my salt shaker, so no worries there. But like I said, it looked to me and felt to me like they were just trying to slash their costs as much as possible. So, I mean, I feel bad for them, but at the same time, you can't compromise that sort of thing. At that point, it's almost better to try to sell the business off and recoup whatever expenses that you have and then move on. Interesting, like, bit of juju when it comes to the restaurant industry, and this was something that they taught us in culinary school, is that, yeah, portion control is also a huge thing. However, if you diminish your portions too much, your customers start to complain that they're not getting the same amount for for the same amount of money that they're paying for it. But one of the things they tell you in culinary school, and it's literally, this was every chef instructor that I had, every last one, is if there's a spot where there's a restaurant in whatever town you live in that has been 3 or 4 completely different things, that location is technically, as far as the restaurant industry is concerned, it's cursed and you shouldn't even go near it. It sounds like a bit of a superstition, but it's actually kind of true, because there are places that I can think of in the town that I grew up in where the same place has been half a dozen different restaurants, and they're all around for a couple of years, and then they just kind of tank because the population has kind of a long memory, like, oh yeah, this used to be this place, and I had a bad experience at this completely different restaurant in the same location, but they just won't go back to it. Same thing if there's like a health code violation, specifically for pests. If on more than one occasion, I had chef instructors say in class, do not skimp on pest control. They're like, have a guy on speed dial, pay for the good service, make sure you're on good terms with them, and that they will come as soon as you call. Because nothing shuts down a restaurant quicker than somebody seeing something and making sure that whatever you do in back as well as in front, everything is as clean as possible. Now, that's not to say that pests aren't just going to naturally roll in. They do. But having a good pest control company on call minimizes those kinds of effects. However, in the event that something happens and there's some kind of major health code violation due to pests, they've said, you know what, just don't even bother. Just shut the place down then and sell everything off and just leave. Just shut it down, because most places will not bounce back from like, oh, somebody saw a rat or a cockroach or something like that. Most places will not, because whomever saw it tells all of their friends who tells all of their friends. And nowadays, especially with social media, that's even more exponentially so. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, like, nobody wants to be eating in a restaurant and see rats running out in the kitchen. Exactly. Nobody wants to see any of that stuff. But because of that, it forces the restaurant, if they really want to be successful, to be vigilant about that kind of thing. And just literally be on top of it, making sure everything is off the floor, things are away from the walls, that pest control is there on a regular basis doing what they got to do. It's more about bugs than rats and stuff. Bugs are a much worse problem in general. Yes, you're absolutely correct. They may not be noticeable, but like ants in a bathroom, you better believe it. Yeah. See, and a Chinese restaurant here had a mouse. They closed for a day and took care of it, but they're still there. But they've been there forever. Yeah. I could, having also done pest control, oh my gosh. There was a small restaurant chain that I will not name that had a couple of different locations that the company that I worked for serviced. They were on contract. And we were there, usually, normally it was every 3 months, but it wasn't uncommon for us to have service requests because they had some sort of issue pop up. And I had serviced all of these locations multiple times. One location in particular, they had a cockroach issue. The cockroaches were living literally inside the stove back in their prep area. And unfortunately, like the bait that we use, you can't have them around the stoves. You have to kind of keep them out of the way. Yeah, bugs pop out at night. Yeah, it gets worse, let me tell you. So I'm there. I'm doing my normal servicing outside, inside. Like it's a big place, and they were there to let me into the dining room so I could, treat inside and do all this other stuff. Well, I get in there, and it's I think it was like 10 in the morning or something like that, and they normally don't open until afternoon. But I'm seeing what looks like remnants of food like all over the floor. I'm like, this is an issue because they're complaining about cockroaches, and yet there's ready food sources literally all over the place. And so I go to the manager that happened to be there, and I'm like, hey, I need to point this out to you because, partly it was covering my butt as a technician, but it was also pointing out things that needed to be taken care of in order to take care of the issue. Just because pest control is not just about the company doing its thing, it's about the owners and the company. It's teamwork makes the dream work. So I bring the manager out to the floor. I'm like, you see kind of all this stuff down here? Your cockroach problem isn't going to go away until this kind of thing is taken care of. And she said to me that they vacuum before they open as opposed to when they close, because they close at like 2 in the morning or something like that, because they have a bar that usually is going, and everyone's tired and they just, kind of clean up and then go home. And then the morning crew that comes in, does their thing. And I'm like, lady, at this point, like, if this is what you're doing, nothing that I do is going to take care of the cockroaches if you're feeding them constantly like this. I flat out told them so. Anyways, they called the company and complained. And so then I heard about it from my manager, who fielded the call from them, complaining about what I said. And thankfully, this is one of the few times that my boss actually had my back and was like, well, he's not wrong. Y'all need to clean this up. Anyways, he had to have his managerial, well, we have to have a talk about this, and what happened, what can we do to keep it from happening again, just kind of the standard managerial talk and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna, I was nice about telling them that they needed to clean it up until she told me, oh no, we, just do what you gotta do. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. And I mean, I was attending conferences and college level courses for doing this sort of thing. I'm like, lady, I know what I'm talking about. Like, cockroaches take time to get rid of, and if you're feeding them like this, forget about it. It's kind of the same thing for rats, to be honest. Rats are even crazier, let me tell you, because they're smart. It's been observed that they actually show empathy, and they show regret for making bad decisions. They've been observed to be altruistic, meaning they will make decisions based on what is best for their family group. And if they make a bad decision, they will regret it and actually visibly show it. One of the world's foremost experts on rats was giving this lecture and was, from the pest control professionals' point of view, or actually pest management professionals is what they were calling us. So we were just shortening to pimp. But there was a whole photo series that came out in National Geographic after the fact. This was a couple of years ago. And they followed this guy around New York City at night, and he was just pointing out, this is, a visible rat trail kind of thing. This is what all this stuff is. And there's a photo of a couple of rats cooperating to pull a piece of pizza out of a trash can. And yeah, do you think a rat would gift you some cheese? Maybe. That is a possibility. You would definitely have to be good friends first. Yeah. Take care of a computer will, yeah. Tech support's the exact same thing, Lumpy Pickle. But rats have been known, and this was the most shocking thing that they told us, is there was a case in, I think it was Virginia, where there was a rat infestation, and it was at this warehouse. It was so bad that they had actually tunneled underneath the foundation. And this is where it gets super crazy. They chewed up through 18 inches of concrete and rebar into the warehouse. The whole room gasped. I'm sorry, what? Yeah. Rats were able to chew through 18 inches of solid concrete and rebar into the warehouse. Pretty nuts. But just a little tip, if you're having a rat issue, rats are like people, they need food, shelter, and water. If you eliminate any one of those, they're not going to find you quite as desirable. So if you have outdoor bird feeders where bird seed goes everywhere, that's just a rat feeder is really what it is. So just, chill with it, and that usually takes care of the issue. And make sure that, look for holes and gaps around the foundation. Yeah. I wouldn't also put bait inside the house. I would keep the bait away from the house, so then that way any rats stay away from it. We had some mice here at one point, but I would never put bait inside because I don't want to give them a reason to come in. I want them to stay out. So at least that's kind of my train of thought, my thinking procedure. But at any rate, food's getting cold and I'd like to eat. So thank you so much for everybody. Rats can actually squeeze through something the size of a quarter, and mice can squeeze through something the size of a nickel, interestingly enough. But yeah, it's been fun. I hope, maybe you were inspired. Maybe it was, hey, it was just straight up entertaining. Thank you to everybody who piped up in chat. Thank you to the lurkers. Thank you for everybody coming and hanging out. Let's see if this is... Does anybody know if Mally's still raiding? Let's go raid Mally. I know Andrew stopped. AJ's the pro lurker. Let's see. Oh, she did? Well, that's surprising. Let's see who's on. Yeah. Thank you, Night Songs. Yeah, and to be honest, like I said, just trying to resurrect poorly made food. This turned out great. Like this Blood of My Enemy's orange chicken turned out excellent. Oh, that's weird. So the live feed from my my phone is frozen. Let's go back to that. Whoop. All right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Thanks everybody for coming by today. I'll send you to the outro. Enjoy the earworm jingle. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, and I will see you all Thursday. All right? Take care, everybody.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. Making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. Making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. Making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. Making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?